All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And today I got Mohamad with me here, who just won a locals at where he is over in New Mexico, a 25-player locals with black, yellow Linlin. Mohamad, what's up, man?
Yo, what's up, Vivi?
Is there any real quick before we jump into it? We talked a little bit off camera, but you go by Mo, right? Mo's a little more, but that's
Yes.
what they call you. That's your name.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And so
My name is Mohammed, and I actually like when people call me Mohammed,
yeah,
but like Mo is the same thing, it's just short version.
dude, I'm the same way. Like I go to locals now. I go to locals and people call me Vivi. I'm like, guys,
Yeah,
my name's James. you know,
yeah.
and I'm cool with it, right? I'll take it. I'll answer to James or Vivi because I want to go through the whole thing, but my gamer alias is Wolfric, right? And that's where the VV came from. Is that W? I wanted to make it unique,
Yes,
and it's like
yes.
now I'm VV. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm like the little girl in One Piece, right? Nefeltari VV. I'm like, sure, whatever, we'll take it.
Yeah,
But that's awesome. So let's go ahead first. We'll dive straight into the deck, and then we'll just go from there. Because just so you guys know, me and Mo were talking off camera. Like we couldn't stop talking about
yeah,
One Piece, guys. We're
yeah.
all in on this. And so I'm just gonna hand it over to you now, Mo. Go ahead and walk us through real quick. I know this is like deja vu for you, right? You just did this, but go ahead and
For
run us through
sure.
real quick.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're now talking about Black Yellow Big Mom. Okay, this leader, we love it, we know it. Um, Check it out. Okay. So I'm running four of the 10 drop Big Mom, and I strongly believe that that's standard.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm not really willing to argue for going less than that, to be honest. That's just an unfair card.
No.
That's just a card that, like, when you play it, you will never have a meaningless turn. Even if you lose, that's not a meaningless turn. You've done something with that card.
She's huge.
Impactful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for Yamato, um, used to run three for the fourth Bartolomeo. Gonna get back to that. And then Gedatsu, Bird Zap. This is the two Dawn event that KOs with the cost of the amount of life that your opponent has. Trigger is Activate Main. It's a really good card. It's the same effect as Gedatsu. I should have said that from the beginning, but you don't get the body.
Yeah.
And then I also run the two of the one drop, the counter.
Narcobar Arrow.
And
Yeah.
you guys should check the last video about Black Yellow Big Mom from Vivi. He was commenting about this card and how this could be, what did you say, Vivi? A more Hinu Bird Zap or
Even
Thunderbolt, right?
yeah, it could be Thunderbolt, it could be Hindenburg Zap, or it could even be the additional 2K counter you needed. Like it's such a flex spot. You know what I mean?
It is. And I totally agree that this spot, if it was Thunder or not Thunderbird, yeah, Thunderbolt,
Thunderbolt. Yeah.
Thunderbolt, it would be amazing. And you were explaining how that like goes really well with Hina as well.
Yeah.
The issue is that I was really scared of like clogging non-counter cards because you see the four Kuzans,
Yep.
the four, those don't have counter, those are four, and those are I count them as no counter because you need to leave the Dawn. It's not for free in your hand, you know?
Exactly. Oh, there we go. I blew it up better. Yeah. So like what Mo's saying here is like you got your Hino Bird Zaps, your Kuzans, and your Hinas. Yeah, they're very strong, but when they're in your hand, they're kind of dead cards.
Yes, absolutely. That's why Sabo exists, and every single effect of Sabo matters in this deck.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. The recycle throws down the extra Kuzans that you have. Some people think four is a lot, but like Kuzan is kind of a win condition, guys. Like Kuzan is insane. He throws the extra Kuzans, the extra Yamatos. Maybe you're being aggressed too much. There is no time for a Linlin. You will use the Dawn to gain a life and make a blocker and survive like
Yep.
you will have to work with the situation you're being in. This is not a leader that like, okay, 7 Dawn, I play this, 10 Dawn, I play that. No. Like, and most leaders are like that right now, to be honest. They're like thought intensive.
Yeah.
Like One Piece in general, you can't you can't just win free games right now by just dropping cards
No,
on curve.
they'll run you over. Yeah,
Um,
they'll outplay you.
Absolutely, especially if someone who knows the matchup, even easier.
Yeah.
So Sabo is amazing. Um, Maybe in the future of OP-06, which we will talk about that, me and Vivi,
Yes.
soon, we might go down on him. And there is a good reason for that.
Right.
And then for Borsalino, his
Solid.
younger brother, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's
amazing card.
that's
And then,
big boars for us, man. Even though blue
yeah,
gets the real
big
big
boars.
boars, we get the 4-cost big boars.
Yes,
That's big bro
the
right
OG
there.
Borsalino. Yeah, he's the more expensive one.
Yes, in every way these days.
Yes, in every way. And then Kuzan again, like I'm saying, this is a win condition because Vivi mentioned uh, in his last video that the game in the tournament I was playing against the yellow big mom. If you guys check that video on the other channel, uh, Kuzan literally like with Kuzan I Hinobird
Anything,
zapped
man.
Agidatsu
Yeah.
for 2 down. Like they spent 5, I killed it with 2. Next turn they played the 7 mom for 7, and it was just a Kuzan into Agidatsu. Or yeah, it was Agidatsu. So I killed it for 5. He spent 7, and that's I'm plussing Don.
Yes.
Like the thing is with this leader, you will have to like make a profit, make a Don profit. You'll have to do that. Some leaders do it for you.
Right.
Like
But
gain hand advantage, Whitebeard does it for you.
that's
You know?
right.
You don't have to worry about that.
But
So
but not for
protecting your
us. Yeah.
exactly, you will have to like
You-
set it up so that you plus and done.
Right.
You
like,
need that.
we're going to have to get our value through another way. Like our leader's not going to
Exactly.
necessarily just give us the value that another leader might. Like especially like wait till Gecko Moria drops, right? He's just pay 3 get value, right? For us, we gain a life, but we still have some room to make up because we're trashing a card at the same time. So we have
Absolutely.
we got to make up for it.
And guys, it's for done. It's expensive.
Yeah.
Expensive. The other four leader that uses for done is like
Red Green Luffy.
Luffy and
Yeah.
and that's he's a meme at this point. I'd rather play King, man. He's a meme.
Quite literally.
So
next up we
yeah,
got. I was just gonna say next we got Rebecca. What's your thoughts on her? I'm really curious to hear this.
yes, Rebecca. So fight me, man. You cannot play this leader without Rebecca. Fight me, like.
And I was under that impression at first. Remember, like when OP-05 or whatever this is just dropped, I'm like, it's too much setup. But it's like no, you have to run it. All that value we talked about losing, she gets it back for us. Or she's one of the ways. She's one of the ways we get it back. And she's a blocker, and she's setting up this combo. This card is so nutty.
It's a straight up advantage, card advantage.
Yep.
This card is literally what facilitates you gaining that advantage that we were talking about. And again, if you go back to see the video I was talking about, I also go in a turn and I play a double Rebecca. And
Now you
like
got,
I have 5 cards on board.
Yeah.
And literally my friend on the video, he was like, "You're playing Yu-Gi-Oh, bro. What is this?"
you're just comboing. Yeah, you're just getting every card, just cycling through every single thing. Yeah.
Yes. And by the way, guys, if you ever saw any leader that has black in it, almost always, the black is gonna have more cards than the other color. Why? Because black is like a support color, and it needs its combo pieces.
Yeah.
That's why it needs all of that big portion in the deck.
Yeah, like look at Rebecca.
Yeah.
Look at Sakazuki. Even Sakazuki's primarily black. It just has some blue removal. That's exactly right. It's like all the strong stuff will be a part of the leader, and then whatever the cards are of the extra color. But the support package of setting up your win condition is just overwhelmingly black.
Yes, absolutely. And then so again, back to Rebecca.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just you have to play it, man. It's such a good card. People think that this is like, oh, I mean, at that point, I'd rather play Sakazuki. No, that is not a valid argument.
This is different.
This is a black card that was not meant for Sakazuki even in the first place.
True.
He's just the best leader that utilizes it.
Yeah.
Because of the nature of his effect.
Yep.
But like any black deck should play this card, at least for now, you know.
Oh yeah, and I've even said, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I've even made the arguments like, once we get Gecko Moria, the 8-cost character, that's that. We're talking pure value town, and and that's like you're saying, the decks that splash black, well, they're just going to keep that black prevalent. It's going to be like 20, 30 cards at a time, because of what this is going to allow us to do. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, and honestly, you've reminded me of a really good point I wanted to bring up. So, if you like have doubts about this leader being like, like you don't competitive, yeah, exactly. Well, think about it. What is the best deck in the format? It's black, blue. And what is the answers for that color? It's yellow. Well, guess what is that? And it's literally the mishmash of the whole meta together.
Yeah, quite literally. When you look at like right now, the most prevalent decks are like yellow Katakuri / Chanel, and then blue black Sakazuki, which is primarily black with some blue removal. And it's like the only argument against it, really, right from the blue side of it, is the removals bottom decking. Sure, that is more powerful removal,
Yes.
but when it comes to the yellow, we'll talk about it more once we run through this list. But
Absolutely.
please play against me with a yellow deck with this deck. Like it.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
I will take it every single time. Because even Katakuri now is 50-50. It used to not be that way. It used to be Katakuri was too aggressive. We didn't have the answers. But now
it's gonna be funny once we get to the matchups portion of that day.
Yeah.
Because there was some categories in there.
Good. Yeah. All right, so let's run through the rest of this list real quick so we can go over to that.
Absolutely. So two-man Sherry, some people play one. I understand it being at one in Sakazuki because you cycle fast.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with two. One maybe is fine, but like this is a card that most of the time you're going to be countering with, to be honest, because it's not always convenient to use 2 down for this, not waste. Use 2 down for Mancheri.
Right.
But when it's good, it's amazing. This card, when it's good, it's amazing. And I'll bring that up when I talk about the final of that tournament that I won with Black Yellow Bigma.
Nice.
For Tashigi, good for 2K. Cost reduction, bring it back with Rebecca Mancheri. Hina, bring it back with everything. Bartolomeo, the blocker 2K, and Hina. Also, Vivi in his video mentioned that he would rather play 4 Barto 3 Hina. I totally agree, to be honest. I think the utility of the blocker makes sense to, like, it would come up more often that it's more useful than this card cycling and -2 effect.
And like we were talking about,
sense.
Yeah, like
from a competitive point of view.
And remember we were saying off screen, like going, I think we mentioned going like Mancheri and then Sabo. Well, man, if you go, Bart Sabo, whew, man.
Oh, there is even better than that.
Yeah.
You can go Rebecca add back Sabo, play Bartolomeo in defense, and then play the Sabo. Everything is protected.
Everything.
And, like, if you do something like that, you're surely not dying. And now they have to answer this blocker that is rested. It's super annoying. And now because they can't even kill it.
And now you get that value back we were talking about. Now you get that incremental value back. So now you're back in the game, and it's at least even at that point where you can outplay your opponent.
Yes, exactly. When you do that, Rebecca does not make you go even because you -1 one card from your hand when you play the Bartolomeo. Yeah. But the Sabo cycles you for you anyway.
Right. Well, and think about it. It's at least getting a card back from the trash that we didn't have access to, so it's at least getting us something. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into your matches now since, so there's the breakdown. Yeah. Well, actually, real quick, before you get into your matches, actually, let me leave this up. You talked about it a little bit in your video. What are some of the, like, other than Yamato, like maybe hopping down to 3 Yamatos and going up to the 4 Bartolomeos, were there any other changes you wanted that you have considered making?
Yes, absolutely. So I talked about Bedge in the spot of Hina.
That's right, yeah.
And I still stand by that because...
In the place of Khalifa, right? You said...
Khalifa, not Hina.
Yeah.
They look similar, to be honest.
Yeah, they do.
In the place of Khalifa, the 2K counter. It's just that from a competitive point of view, the trigger has the chance of coming up and saving me some, a game or something.
Right.
I mentioned in the video that I didn't do that because I was counting the Mancheri count, but you also mentioned that Mancheri can give me all of the black cards, and I didn't realize that, honestly. Like, I when you said that Mancheri gets all of the, I was like, oh yeah, that's true.
Why not, right?
I was like, if I put Bedge instead of Khalifa, I probably will like hardly feel the difference, you know?
I don't think you would,
Um,
yeah, because you know how it
yeah,
is. Like typically with Manchury, we're not even going for like the 2K counter. We're usually going for the Rebecca to get a 2K counter or something.
exactly,
So it's
exactly, exactly,
yeah, I don't think you see much
exactly.
of a difference. Because even if people think I'm crazy, but I'll even run beiges a 2 and a 3 of. They're like, yeah, but that, if you're running that card, it's gonna like potentially save you games. It's like, hey, heart of the cards, right? You know, it's like I don't
Yeah, man,
whatever
yeah,
gets it gets it. I don't if
whatever, yeah.
luck is a factor in cards. I'm sorry, it just is. You know what I mean? I'm not saying
I mean,
no
what,
excuses, but you know what I mean.
yeah. When you sign up to playing TCGs, you're signing up to playing with RNG.
Yep, that's just
Like it's like gambling, but there is some thought into it, you know.
exactly. Yeah, 100%.
um, the other thing that I was thinking about is that category can be good in this deck.
The 4 cost category or the
Category
8 cost?
in the eight cost
8
actually.
cost. Okay, yeah,
Yeah, he can be good, but honestly, I think he wouldn't make that much of an impact. And I wanted to make this as much budget as possible. This is because I don't own categories, the secrets.
yeah,
So there is no chance for me to play any kind of yellow. What other yellow that doesn't play category?
right.
This is the most competitive thing that you can play that involves yellow.
Yeah, outside of like
Uh,
just straight NL and category, the standards ones you're saying, like,
yes, yes, yes. Yeah, because those they run categories, the A drop.
oh yeah, yeah. See, that was
Yeah.
the one thing. So I used to run Katakuri. I used to have like a 4-3-2 package where it was like four Linlin, 3 Yamato, 2 Katakuri, and we just didn't have a lot of good options to put back into our life. Now we you know you can always play them to bounce cards in their life because we're not in any rush
Yeah,
anyway, right? That makes our
yeah.
removal even stronger. But it was one of those things where it's like but again, I've seen people do very well with Katakuri. It but I kind of liked. I liked not seeing it because, like you said, number one, it's way more budget.
Mhm.
Because right now, the one really expensive card in this deck is obviously Borsalino. That's the big one.
Yes.
Kuzan's getting up there, but I was even going to
Other
say,
than that,
yeah,
yeah,
that,
everything looks manageable to be honest.
yeah,
Other than those two cards.
yeah, and I would even argue like for the now you can't really replace Kuzan unfortunately, but if you absolutely had to make this budget, you could run that. What was that? There's like a 5 cost card that has the same effect, but it doesn't draw a card. Sengoku. Like if you had
Oh,
to,
Sengoku.
the little 5 cost. I think
Absolutely.
he's a 5 cost 6K, and then when he attacks -4. So like
Yeah,
nowhere near as good, but it's still it's a replacement.
and for Black Yellow Big Mom enthusiasts, like don't worry. In OP-06, the card quality of this deck is gonna be so good that this guy might even not get a spot. You know,
It's crazy.
that's how good it's gonna get.
He's not kidding. Like I mean, like when we start introducing the what's there's a yellow card, the Akikanojo. That
Yes.
if we go that route, see, we'll have to talk about that later in detail. But there's gonna be like 2 different routes we can go
Yes.
between offensive and defensive, and
Yes.
it's gonna be fun. So let's go ahead and hop into your matchups real quick, so we can go on to some theory crafting, talk about the future of Black Yellow. Lin.
Yes, absolutely. So that day, my first it was 5 rounds. It
Five
was
rounds.
5 rounds. Yes. My first 2 rounds were two categories back to back.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get to go
They
first or second
actually,
in either of them?
I got to go actually second in the second one and first in the first one.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But I was lucky. I was lucky that both of the categories that I played were aggressive with their characters that they played, like their Perosperos and their Sanjis. They were aggressive with them. They were attacking with
Just
them.
swinging in.
And that's really good. That's really good with me because um, like if you know anything about Black Yellow Big Mom at this point, at this stage, is that you play this like you don't attack your opponent.
Starve.
Most
Pure
of the match,
starvation.
yeah.
Yeah.
And against Katakuri, that's kind of like too much advantage not attacking him, you know?
Right.
Because like what? End game, he's gonna play a Big Mom and he's now 6 life. That's crazy. You're not winning at that point.
Yeah.
So he's giving me a chance to take cards from his hand or clear his board without going at his life.
And we'll take it.
That was amazing. That's just like a skillful thing. Like
Yeah.
you need to realize that I don't want to attack you as a category. So maybe not resting your character is better. And it was amazing for me. Like he was swinging 7. you know, they swinging 7 with Katakuri, and I'm just taking all the life.
Yep.
And all I'm doing is just put all of the Dawn under my leader, just leave 2, and heal 1. Do that for a couple of turns. Now we're end game, and I haven't given you any card up until this point.
Yeah, and I'm eating your board the whole time.
Yeah, and against Katakuris, once I get you at this point. It doesn't matter if you have a lot of life or not a lot of life, because I have infinite life.
Yep, you're gaining life every single turn.
Exactly. And I have a lot of cards by this point because you've been attacking me nonstop.
Yep, and just like Enel, our leader acts as a cycle. Like, we're cycling through our cards through our life, you know, and
absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, those are really good Katakuri players, but this is not a matchup they know particularly.
That's right.
And that's another win condition that this leader has.
It's another advantage.
Not a lot of people know how to, not a lot of people know how to play against it.
Yeah.
So that was the first 2 rounds, and then we go into a purple-red kid.
Okay.
Easiest matchup in my life.
Yep.
I mean, I already want to starve you, bro. Now you have to spend more Dawn to attack me. It's just, it's easy.
Like, and they have no good targets, right? Like we're just going to drop down characters that just do not matter, like Gadatsu. We've already KO'd your guy. You can have him if you want.
Yeah, like, I remember in that matchup, I think I dropped, like, a couple of Kuzan, and that was all Shiro.
Or Kuzan, yeah. Absolutely.
Like a couple of Kuzans, and yeah, that's it.
I've had the same experience. Like, that's kind of like our new our new Zoro, because like back in OP-03 and OP-04, I couldn't explain to people. It's like, guys, I don't think you understand. Like Zoro is just a free matchup for me. Like, you know, it's just like they try to attack, and we just eat them up one by one. Now, every now and then, you know, just like with any deck can sneak a win on you, you know, especially if it's a good player, and especially if they get a great pool and you get a bad pool. It happens. But generally speaking, Red, Purple, Law, Zoro, and these yellow decks, man.
Bello, Betty, Kid, all of that red aggression that, like, you're not doing something unfair. Well, I am doing something unfair.
Yeah.
I have infinite life if I use it correctly.
Right.
And I have a tank cost that, like, you cannot get rid of, bro. It's like
no answer for. Yeah, and that card's going to gobble up either a life or a card every single turn, like a character. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So then, what was that number 4?
So that's 3 rounds. We have 2 rounds. So the 4th round is the semifinal.
That's the one that was posted, right? The yellow mom one? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the black yellow big mom versus the mom.
Guys, definitely check that out if you have not already. It shows the game. That was a really cool game. It was cool seeing yellow Linlin there, that high up, you know. But black yellow Linlin took it.
I will mention it though. I was playing that tournament on 3 hours of sleep.
Oh, you were done.
I spot like 3 misplays in that. I still won it, but like because as I was telling you guys, I practiced a lot with this leader, but I can still make misplays.
Absolutely.
Usually in that matchup, when a 7-drop is dropped against me, I tend to give him life because I don't care. I have infinite life.
Yeah.
I'll get rid of that 7-drop. But when my opponent played it, I didn't make the quick calculation that my next turn is 9. If I take my life, I am exactly at 3 with my Kuzan to kill his big mom.
To be able to pop the big mom.
So I granted him a life when I could have just like dropped a life, and it would have been 1 extra card and a Yamato on curve and killing his big mom.
Huge advantage.
Yeah. It would have killed the game immediately.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Right.
I think it would have won me the game and I still did it. I still did it.
Won.
Kuzan. I still did it with Kuzan and then Gedatsu.
Right. Because I was scared at that point because you could see a little bit of like hand bleed from your opponent, and I'm looking at his hand like, oh my gosh, he's got Thunderbolt and 200 million volts of Maru. Like, I'm like, oh no.
Absolutely.
And I was like, yeah.
Yeah,
that was scary.
Yeah.
But hey, you got it. Pulled it off.
It's an very, very interesting matchup. Yeah, for sure.
And then what was the finals? Who did you go against in the finals?
The finals, to be honest with you, I was going into the finals and I was like, okay, 2nd place is not bad, you know?
You're starting to make
purple
it.
Luffy.
Purple Luffy?
It was a purple Luffy. I was like, 2nd place is good enough, you know?
Right.
And because here's the thing. he's one of the very few leaders that I cannot starve.
Can't
My
starve
whole
him.
plan does not work with him.
No.
But man, oh man, the guy so I was really aggressive with him. I was on the odd curve. I was going 7
Face.
into
Face.
yeah,
Yeah.
face.
Have to.
So
Yeah.
like what happened is it was really interesting. He was defending his life viciously
Wow.
because he wants to ramp, but him doing that uh, put like usually if you take a lot of damage as Luffy and then you're at a low life count. So
Yeah.
that kills my Gedatsu, that kills my Hinobird, that kills my Yamato immediately. If
Everything.
you defend your life, you give those a chance to pop out.
Yeah.
And and Hinobird Zap, it was amazing. It was amazing. Like killing kids, killing 7 and 5. And then once we made it to endgame, he was still aggressing me enough to the point that I couldn't drop my Big Mom.
Right.
But I put him in a loop. I put him in a loop where I would one Don Mancherry, add Sabo, play Sabo. Now I have 4 Don, gain a life. You can't Kaido me. You can't kill anything.
That's right.
And he didn't have enough attackers to get rid of that Mancherry. So I looped him like that for 3 turns.
That's it.
And,
Yeah.
and man is bleeding. Man is bleeding cards.
Yeah.
So like that's another win condition in the deck. Like the deck
Yeah.
actually has a lot of win condition, guys. You just need to like synergize your black and yellow perfectly and I'll have the like the most perfect setup you can, you know.
Exactly.
And that got it.
Yeah, and
That got it, man.
that's one of the like. So when I was first like building Black Yellow Linlin for this, new OP-05 that we're in, well, I say new, it's like halfway over now. But like when I was first building it, I was having a real problem with Purple Luffy and even Red Purple Luffy sometimes, but mainly Purple Luffy. And it was like, dude, this is like almost unwinnable unless you get down to that loop. That's what made me swap over to like a more yellow heavy version without the Rebecca's. Like I was basically playing Katakuri on Black Yellow Linlin.
Yes.
And it was working.
Like,
it was working, but then my blue-black Sakazuki
absolutely.
matchup suffered.
Absolutely, yeah. Because that's the thing, like you already know Purple Luffy is gonna be aggressive. Well,
Oh yeah.
okay, man, you be aggressive, but I might get a couple of triggers in here, and we might do something.
We'll be off to the races then. Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's awesome, and congratulations, by the way, on that win. Of course, that's awesome because it's like I've said this before. When it comes to me playing Black Yellow Linlin, it's funny. Like at my locals, very very competitive locals where I'm at. Just for those who are listening, like Heart Pirates TCGs at my locals, he's always playing some craziness like me or playing a really serious deck. It's easy for me to get like top 4. Like top 4 is not too hard for me to get, but getting actually first place against the more meta decks is hard to do. So anytime I hear about a Black Yellow Linlin deck doing it, I am more than happy. That's why I had to have you on. I was like, oh, first place Black Yellow Linlin? Yep.
We have.
Got to get you.
So our community here in the One Piece community in New Mexico State is fairly small, to be honest. But we still have good competition. Like we have 4 people at Nats right now competing. They're doing decent, to be honest. We also have people who topped regionals and treasure cups multiple times.
Nice.
I went to a regional in Texas. It was an OP-02, and I was playing Law, and that's the regional that Red Luffy won.
Okay, so ways back, yeah.
Yeah. When Smoker was new, Whitebeard was new.
Yeah.
And my first 2 rounds in that regional, I played 2 Treasure Cup finalists back to back.
Oh,
and
that's brutal.
One of them actually was playing the Serial Luffy.
Wow, he was actually playing with the Serial Luffy. Oh,
he was playing. I was like, "That's insane, man!" And I lost both of them.
That's a flex, man. That's a hard flex. Yeah. But speaking of that, I'm gonna finally be going to my first regional. I've been very busy. For those who don't know, I'm a teacher in real life. That's my actual profession, and it's like I have very limited time. I've got 2 kids as well. It's all complicated. You know what I mean? And it's like I think I'm gonna finally be able to go to my first regional in Kissimmee, Florida. It might be pronounced Kissimmee. I don't know. Kissimmee, whatever it is in Florida. It's just 2 hours south of me, right under Orlando. And I should be going to that. So I will say this, though. You won't see a lot of Black Yellow Linlin content on my channel over the next 3 months because I don't want people to know what's going on?
Yeah,
Too much.
the spice.
You know, we'll talk a
Dude,
little bit about it, obviously, on here, but like actual revisions to the deck, y'all are going to be like, man, Vivi doesn't talk about Black Yellow Linlin anymore. It's because I don't want to go to a tournament and everyone knows what I'm playing. You know what I mean? You know how it is.
yeah,
You got to hide a little bit of it. But
absolutely.
yeah. So let's see. So we talked about everything up to, okay, so now going into OP-06, let's talk a little bit about the direction. Actually, let me say this real quick before we go into it. This deck, I'm going to blow it up on the screen again. Let me make it where it's like the full screen here. Guys, this deck is very similar to what Mosh was running, another Black Yellow Linlin player, with the Rebecca's. It's big on this Rebecca and a heavy top end where it's like the super control version. This is the future of Black Yellow Linlin. It just has to be said. I'm not saying you can't build it any other way. Sure, you can build a deck however you want to, but if you're trying to be competitive, you're trying to, like, you know, show people the, you know, what the leader can do. Really, if you're trying to show people what the leader can do, this is the direction of the deck. It is control, control, control. I'm not going to give you any cards other than like we talked about. In certain matchups, you have to attack life, like in Purple Luffy. But other than that, you're playing super hardcore control. And guys, going into OP-06, this deck is already prepped to go into that format. And that's where we can take off from there if you want to, Mo, like talking about how, you know, how this goes in, how this deck would transition in to OP-06.
Absolutely. So into OP-06, this deck will actually suffer from a problem that Sakazuki is experiencing right now, which is the amount of card quality. Why is it hard to build a Sakazuki deck? Because there is always the one-offs, man, the tech cards. What is good? A lot of things are good. People in Sakazuki are cutting Kuzan. Other people think Kuzan is uncuttable from Sakazuki.
Yep.
And it's a whole debate about Tenkaido and Mihawk and Tenkuzan even. I've heard about that.
Yep.
Why is all of that happening? Because of the card quality on that deck. Now, we were going to be suffering from that in OP-06 because we're going to have a lot of good cards. And the main offender of them is Gecko Moria, a ban-worthy card.
Card is insane.
That card is like... I honestly like it because I just love black. It's probably my favorite color.
That's what got me into the game, man. Black's what actually got me into the game. When we talked about off camera about this too, about how, like, man... When I got in during OP-02, I was like, "Whoa, this is awesome!" Like, these black cards, I love this. Even though it wasn't even good, it wasn't even good back then. Remember, like, you know, there weren't any decks really winning. Like, Smoker was okay, you know, but it was like I didn't even care because the color was so awesome. You know, hey, I'm glad I bought my Borsalinos back then when they were like $5.
Hey, man, the believers in black back then just got rewarded. Rewarded
big time. But yeah, I think I'm just going to chime off what you said there too. Like Gecko Moria, and of course, guys, we're talking about the 8 cost Gecko Moria coming out in OP-06 on play, return up to a 4 cost and up to a 2 cost, and put them into play. One's going to be active, the other's going to be rested. Guys, like we just looked at, I'll just bring up this picture. Like, look at Rebecca. That's a 4 cost that grabs more cards from your trash. Manshuri has all the interaction with the trash. It's not gonna be easy to make the deck, of course, because there are so many moving parts at this point. There's so many things we have to, like Mo was saying, we have to cut this and slide this around, move this down to 3, do this all moving around. Because notice, guys, this deck is very straightforward. 4, 4, 4. Like, it's like tons of 4-ofs and a few 3 and 2-ofs. And guys, once we get to black yellow in OP-06, I don't think it's going to be like that anymore. I think it's going to be absolutely crazy.
It's not gonna be easy because Gecko Moria is such a powerful card that it allows deck flexibility. Like, now you can build the deck any way you want. Exactly. There is a ton of 4-drop cards that you can play with that Gecko Moria and, like, be advantageous at least, you know, just to build characters.
Yeah, because we're also getting an entire set of cards, the Akazaya 9 or whatever they're called, like where those are cards that come into play from your life. If your opponents have 3 or less life, just play them for free. And they're most of them are, not all of them, but most of them are 4-cost cards that are 4-cost 5Ks that have an effect. That's a whole nother angle we can go down. It might not necessarily be like that, but that's just one whole nother path to mess around with. Yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the card pools and this leader has access to is just amazing for black and for yellow.
Yeah.
In OP-05 and OP-06, those two colors are dominating the meta in every single way. Um,
Yeah.
Even in Japan and here, it's either gonna be a yellow thing or Sakazuki or Gecko Moria, you know.
Yeah.
Even if you're gonna spice it up and say Perona did something, that's still black, man.
Yeah. It's still
Like
running
the
the whole
support,
Gecko engine. Yeah.
and that leader is just collecting the support from all of those color. There has to be something in it that you can do, and the more control the meta gets, the better this leader gets. The more time you give this leader, the more devastating it will be.
Yep, exactly. And just speaking on that a little bit, we have two new black yellow leaders coming out in the near future here.
Yes,
Have you seen black yellow Luffy from ST13 and then black
yes.
yellow Kairos in the EB extra booster whatever set? What are your thoughts on those? What are your thoughts on the three black yellow leaders?
Okay. So this one, I obviously love black yellow big mom.
Me too.
Love playing that deck.
Yeah.
The Luffy one, that is a leader that I'm not gonna play at all because like it's so powerful. But the reason why it's so powerful is because your leader is carrying you, bro. Like you're depending on your leader a lot, a lot. Your leader is what is making the unfair advantage in the game that makes you win.
Yeah.
And you're still playing the Gecko Moria to play the 2-drop brothers, and then do the Luffy shenanigans from there. You know.
Exactly.
The other one, because I don't like those kind of leaders. I think Luffy Black Yellow is the most aggressive out of all those three.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kairos might be pretty aggressive. I'm just going to bring it up for people who don't know what we're talking about. I'm going to put it on the screen real quick. For black yellow Luffy that we're talking about. He's an EB. He's coming out. Excuse me. He's coming out in ST13. Let me do this without messing up the whole thing. Right here we go. The moment of truth. I gotta slide this over.
Yeah.
Actually, not like that. I've messed it all up already. All right. Let me get rid of this. Stop sharing, and then I'll share into this one. There we go. Okay, got it on the screen. So this is the card we're talking about, guys. For anyone listening right now who doesn't know what this does, he is a 5,000 power 4 life standard everything there. But Dawn ×2 activate main. So not even when attacking, activate main once per turn. Trash 1 card from your hand, and if you have 0 life cards, add up to 2 character cards with a cost of 5, exactly 5, from your hand or trash to the top of your life cards face up. And then he has the additional clause of your face up life cards are placed at the bottom of your deck instead of being added to your hand according to the rules. And that's my biggest problem about him right away is I think this leader, notice he didn't really pop off like people thought he would, because that effect is very powerful. You're gaining 2 life. You're potentially gaining 2 life in 1 turn. But it's like, yeah, but okay, when you make it further into the game, you don't have a Linlin to drop. Like you're not dropping
Exactly.
the big
Exactly.
big mom. And so I'm not a huge fan of this leader. I'm gonna play with it, of course. Those are my colors. Black, yellow
Maybe
is
to
my
try
colors.
it out, yeah.
Just to mess
To try
around with
out
it.
at least.
But I think it's way too combo intensive, where it's like you have to have your 2 cost guys with your 5 cost guys, loop all this stuff around, put it in the trash. Good players will try to play around that, by the way. Good players will try to make it where
absolutely.
and think about it. Already one of the best decks in the format is blue-black. So their primary form of removal is bottom decking. So
Thing is,
they'll get rid of everything.
this leader I don't think is gonna do too well in the US, to be honest.
No.
Because Enel is doing so well here in NA.
Yeah.
And we will be like getting into OP-06 will be so conditioned into playing like leaving Enel at that like 1 life, 2 life, in how to be Enel 101,
Right. Exactly.
So you can just apply the same concept to that leader. Never get him to 0. If you get him to 0, that turn you're killing him then.
Yeah.
It's just super simple.
Right. And then it's just, it was cool at first, right? But we won't go too much into this. on the, talking about what we're talking about today, but I actually think red yellow Sabo is going to be the future of those ST13 leaders. Lord have mercy, what that leader is disgusting. What it can do, like the amount of rushers, the 5-cost red Luffy rusher, the yellow 5-cost 7K Ace rusher. That'll be interesting. That is something I actually want to mess with at some point, just as like a a little side project. But then the other one we were talking about, let me bring up Kairos real quick. What are your thoughts on this leader? Once it pops up, right? Oh, look at this awesome new alt art coming out.
Yeah, the alt art is amazing.
Incredible. And actually, let me read it real quick for the people who might not know what it does. It is a activate main once per turn. You may turn one card from the top of your life cards face up to KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 0. Wow. Interesting. What are your thoughts on it?
That's just like... They printed this card, and now there is no reason to play Zeph at all.
Z? Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, Zephyr is just like... he's been kind of forgotten for a while now, right? But yeah, I will say this. With this being a yellow leader... I expected there to be life gain, but there's not. I expected there to be some type of life gain element built into the leader, because that's why I like black-yellow Linlin. That's why I sort of like black-yellow Luffy a little bit, you know what I mean? And I love Queen. Blue-yellow Queen, I love that about it, how it's like this control package, gain a life, gain a life, gain a life. Because we talked about this off-stream too a little bit, we can even go into this. Control in One Piece is not what I think a lot of people think it is. Or, well, I don't know, maybe, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong about it, but yeah.
I think I agree with you on what a control means, at least, yeah.
Yeah, where it's just like, I'm going to go to late game, and that's where I thrive. Well, if you can't gain life in the late game, I guess it's possible to thrive if they print cards strong enough at stalling the game out. But in all, for all practical purposes now, yeah, you have to gain life. Like, you have to.
Yes. But I will differ with you on one point, and that is Queen is not fun, man. The way Queen wins is toxic.
Oh yeah.
Like black yellow Big Mom. Don't get me wrong. You're starving your opponent, but like at some point you'll have to attack.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So you'll have to be smart about it. It's not just pure starvation. I'm not giving you anything at all.
Yeah.
Unless you're in the early game. But yeah, Queen, I don't like Queen, man. Queen is toxic.
Queen's pretty toxic. Yeah, it's one of those, like, people either love it or they hate it. And same thing with Nami, right? Like, Nami's like one of the most divisive leaders in the game. It's like...
I always tell my friends, in the Queen mirror is the only mirror that I would rather take the L in than actually play it,
Yeah. I think we could deal with Queen as black yellow. It's not gonna be easy, but...
Oh, for black yellow Big Mom, that's a free matchup. You'll have to see as many red rocks as many Big Mom as I see.
Right,
and to win that matchup.
And we're still dropping Yamatos, so we're still going to be popping in that way. So it's like definitely, but it's still a good matchup. Of course, I think it is. It's close to 50-50, but
in OP-06, Queen will have a chance though because Sanji is big.
The 9-cost, the news, yeah.
Yes.
For those who don't know, I'll bring that up while we're talking about it. Yes, Sanji is going to be absolutely a game changer, I think, in that.
He's menacing. Yeah.
There he is.
Menacing.
Yeah, and not to mention, there's also that 8-cost card that I think will be pretty decent. The 8-cost Navy blocker. Dang, what's his name? I can't look him up because I don't know his name.
Green Bull?
Yeah. What's his technical name? Aramaki, right? I think it's
Aramaki. Yeah.
Let me type in Maki. It should find it from
the
here. There he is.
The other admiral.
Yeah, this guy, man, because he has a way for you to trash a card built in. And, for people who play Queen, we know that is actually so nice for us. We can bounce back one of your little 3-cost. Is it 3-cost built in, I think? Or 2-cost. Bounce back a little 2-cost blocker so we don't have to worry about him swinging wide on us. And then I've got an 8K blocker, and I'm trashing cards from hand. I don't think people have been playing with Queen enough. But I'm the kind of toxic player, I think, that plays Queen and enjoys it. I am that guy. I'm not going to lie. Not to a disrespectful extent, but
I've had
you know
my
what I mean.
fair share of playing Queen as well.
Yeah,
it feels good to win with it, but it's bad. Queen is just not for me.
It's disgusting. Oh, for sure. But back to black yellow.
Black yellow Big Mom has it can play like Queen,
Yeah. Well, and do you think
I can play like Queen and play Big Mom and not attack you until
See, I was thinking that in my head. I was like, people do not like playing against my black yellow Linlin. Like I'm not like people still beat it, of course, because they're the meta decks are meta for a reason. They're kind of.
Yeah.
This is a whole other conversation we could have another time where
But
it's
the
like
thing is,
skill.
when you chain big moms,
Yeah.
if you chain big moms, you probably are doing well in that matchup. But that also means you're so close to winning that your opponent doesn't have to go the whole 20 turns of queen.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because queen can just like drop a Mihawk pass turn, drop a Yamato pass turn,
yeah.
until they have that Power Ranger board to kill you.
They
And
got
that's not fun, man.
the straight Godzilla board, dude. Yeah,
What I'm saying is black yellow Big Mom can do that
sure.
as well.
Yeah.
We can have it both ways.
Oh yeah, we definitely can. And with but real quick, back to black yellow Kairos. What are your thoughts on that? Is that going to be like an aggro controlling list or something? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Kind of like Sakazuki almost, or no?
So the first time I read this card, I thought
Yeah, let me
I
bring it back
want
up.
to play. I want to play probably cards that want to mess around with my life in that deck, and I want to play a lot of cost reducers. A lot of cost
That's
reducers.
it. Yeah,
And I probably don't care about the removal as much because it's embedded in my leader.
it's right there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was my thoughts too. Because
So he's already doing really well against any deck that's trying to make a board. He's going to be good against all of those.
yeah.
Um,
And I was even
the
thinking
thing
like
is,
he's Dressrosa. Like you can run the package.
the problem with him is that he has the same problem, in my opinion, that red purple law has, which is your leader can remove one thing.
Yeah.
So if it's not in your ability to be flexible to remove more than one thing, as like Sakazuki, it might not be that good. Because where purple Luffy or red purple law struggles is that yes, you can minus one thing, but if I somehow drop in one turn 2 bodies, you get rid of one. Next turn I drop 2 bodies, now you're dealing with 3 characters. So what I'm saying is Kairos needs to have the ability and flexibility to be able to deal with a lot of pressure and a lot of like big board. If he can deal with that, that's a promising leader.
And I was thinking something similar to like, so he is a Dressrosa type leader. So like in my mind, I'm thinking like I'm probably going to build Rebecca around him, like the blue black Rebecca. I'm just going to build straight Rebecca, but now I get to attack with my leader, and then I have access to yellow for late game with like Yamato life gain, and I have 3 Katakuris, so I'll probably run the 3 of the 8 cost Katakuris, and I'll just keep gaining life and popping what I can because Orlumbus. We already know how good Orlumbus is. You know, he's disgusting.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do we play Colosseum in Kairos?
I think so. That was another thing I was going to say. Now, you can't really run Kairos in Kairos, as weird as that sounds, because the 3-cost Kairos, it requires, the KO requires your leader to be Rebecca, not Dressrosa, Rebecca. How dumb is that?
Yeah.
But it makes, like, no sense, right? But we will...
It's like you can't play Kinemon in Kinemon.
Yeah. It's the dumbest thing.
It doesn't make sense.
But I will say... we don't even need Kairos because we have this leader effect baked in. And yeah, it won't have the same draw power as Blue Black Rebecca does, but hey, I mean, I think we'll be able to make up for it because like if we drop down a quarter Coliseum and then like turn, turn 4 or whatever, we have 7 Dawn. Okay, Luffy's coming in sideways. Luffy's coming in sideways every single turn. I think it'd be kind of interesting because you're probably going to run out of cards to flip over by that point. You know what I mean? Like eventually you will run out of cards to flip over with your leader effect if you keep going. Even with this, I know it got some support with what's her name, Viola, who can like flip cards back over. And let me put that on the screen while we're talking about it for people who don't know what we're talking about. I think that's her name, right? Viola.
Viola.
Yeah, here we go. This person here. Yeah, this person can flip cards back. But even with that, that's a little too combo-y at that point, right? Like for me, I will say this. So I was not a Yu-Gi-Oh player. We talked about this a little bit off stream as well, or off camera. But I was more of a Magic player. Heavy control player. But combo, no thanks. That was not my thing. It was like, no, I want straight answers. So I was like a mid-range and combo player. I never cared for aggro. Aggro was never my thing. And I'll play mid-range if it has answers. Like kind of how Sakazuki actually kind of reminds me of a mid-range deck, believe it or not. The blue-black Sakazuki. I know it's not literally mid-range, but it kind of reminds me of that feel in Magic where like You just play cards that have answers built in, and if you get built up to a certain point, you're just going to run your opponent over. You know, but it's not the same as control. And you know, maybe we can talk about that by the end of this video. What do you think about a board clear, like a real board clear? You know, not Kaido, not 10 calls Kaido. That's only used one deck. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's the one thing One Piece is missing. One Piece doesn't have that. Just your
board clear.
Yeah, and like
to be honest,
yeah.
To be honest, even if we get a board clear that is done efficient, I don't think it's gonna be like ban worthy, because as of this point, we're just printing more and more cards that like KO resistant, you know, Marco Borsellino, Sabo.
Right.
We're getting more of those in OP-07. We're getting the Whitebeard Allies guy that like he's got like the Marco 5 drop effect. He's getting
Ors Jr.
Yeah, Ors Jr. And we're getting more and more of those. So, and I think the direction One Piece is going into is that even if you play a board clear, you probably are playing very powerful cards every single turn that you don't care, you know?
Yeah.
If we get to the point where board clears are very efficient to accomplish, you know?
Yeah, like, you know, the card, what's it called? It's a waste of human life or something like that. Let me see.
Oh yeah, the 8-drop card.
Yeah, the 8. Oh my gosh. Let me type in waste maybe. Yeah, there it is. Like, when I first saw this, I thought, okay, here we go, removal. And then I saw the cost. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, why would you ever print a card like this? I just don't understand. Because, like, in my mind, you're right, like, people, all right, hot take here, guys. People are going to be like, oh my gosh, Vivi's lost it. I honestly think there should be like a 4 or 5 cost card that bottom decks every card on the field. Gets rid of it, because I'm sick and tired of like having to, like, that's like the one thing about One Piece. That's why no deck feels any different. You either have like the aggro deck or the mid-range deck. That's like all there is right now. Control decks are like when me and you were playing, they're like a diamond. Like no one really plays control decks because it's hard to make them win at the highest level because there's a leader in this game. You know, leaders always get to attack every single turn, you know? And so that's why I don't know why they wouldn't print removal, because guess what? If I played this card, even how I said it, if it was a 5 cost that wiped the whole board, you still get to attack with your leader next turn. Yeah, and that doesn't go anywhere. So it's just, I don't know. I just feel like they haven't put enough thought into it. But
we're getting there. We're getting there.
Oh, absolutely.
In OP-06, they're giving Sakazuki the 2-event Rob Lucci effect to that bottom decks.
Yeah, just type in sword, it should bring it up. This one. Yeah, Amano Murakamo sword. Yeah.
Yes, and that's like the closest thing to the most efficient board clear we can get.
I 100% agree with you.
Because like 2 of those, and if you have like a 10-drop Kuzan on board, or you know,
or even Isho,
that's board clear, or Isho. Yeah. I mean, those guys are not really meta-relevant in OP-06, but you get what I mean. Like, board clear is achievable, but by that point.
I mentioned this on our little Discord, like the Discord I have for the community here. And for those who aren't on it, please, by all means, join us on there. We have a good time. We're always talking One Piece on there. But I mentioned it on the Discord today, talking about how, like, how do I say this? Dang, I just lost my train of thought trying to plug my Discord for no reason. We were talking. Why on earth? I've lost it. I'm sorry.
We were talking.
We were talking about board clear, right? We were talking something about.
Yeah, board clear.
And an OP-06. Jeez, man. If it comes back to me, I'll bring it back up. But
no, it's okay. It's okay.
But it's one of those things where like board clear is just. It's what we're. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Now I remember. I'm sorry. I was talking about rogue decks. Rogue decks don't really exist in One Piece right now, unfortunately, because there's not enough cards. We need more options to make rogue decks really, really powerful. Like, like for example, you know what I can promise is not going to happen? A blue-green Sanji deck is not going to pop out of the woodworks and just win a Nationals. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't work.
For sure.
Because it just doesn't have the options. It doesn't have the card pool for it. You know, but we're getting there. As the game goes on, we get more and more cool cards, more and more powerful cards across all the colors. I think we're going to start seeing some rogue decks steal some tournaments here and there.
Yeah, that's going to be really, really fun. I totally agree. I mean, I've seen that in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
It's just a truth. Once every 2 support sets, a card comes in and it's perfect for that deck. You know,
Yep.
it's all it needed.
Yeah, and that's what makes like see that I have to say like I hate to always reference other games like I do, but I
I'm
always
not
have to go
sure.
back to Magic. What's up?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you have seen the latest reveals, but man, Iceberg is looking crazy, bro. With the cards he's getting.
You know how we
Like,
were running late for our for this interview. I was on EB the EB set looking at the Water 7 stuff, and I was like, whoa,
yeah,
that
solid,
yeah,
solid,
that Khalifa and that
super solid.
Bluno man is looking pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do have a video coming on that soon for anyone listening. That is coming up soon.
yeah.
But yeah, the what were we saying? We're talking about shoot.
The rogue decks in the future.
Yeah. Oh well, whatever the case is, we have so much stuff to talk about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But what else? What else can we talk about from here as far as like Black Yellow Linlin in the future? We talked about that. We talked about these new sets, Kairos. So once that's where I wanted to go with all that. Once so now all the black and
Oh
yellow
yeah.
leaders are like revealed. Which one are you still think is the strongest out of all three of the black yellow
Oh,
leaders?
definitely Black Yellow Big Mom.
Me too.
Definitely.
Yeah. See, we're on
That
the
that
exact same
leader,
page.
yes, because Black Yellow leader, her effect has the most potential. Luffy, does Luffy? I mean, theoretically, Luffy can give you infinite life, right?
As
He
long
can.
as you can trash
Uh,
cards from your hand and from your trash. Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, yeah, he's got that for him, but he can have infinite life only if your opponent allows you to have
Exactly.
that much life.
And he's really not because for us for Black Yellow Linlin, all that we have to do is we just have to trash one card from hand and we gain one life. So it is a straight
Exactly.
cycle. But this guy requires you to first of all be at 0 life. We can be at 1 life with Black Yellow Linlin. He has to be at 0 life. You have to trash a card from hand, and then you have to have 2 targets to put on top of your life that are 5 cost characters. So it is
Yeah.
people see right away like, oh, he gets to gain 2 life and Linlin only gains 1, so this is better. It's like, no, I don't think so, dude. Like it's I'm not saying it's bad, and who knows, it's already technically had more success than Black Yellow Linlin, if for people who've seen like how far it's gone. But that's because more people are
Yeah.
playing it. No one wants to play Black Yellow Linlin because like, oh, four costs for the leader's too expensive. And
Yeah.
me and you also referenced this off camera. That is a extremely high skill leader. Black Yellow Linlin. It requires.
Absolutely.
People probably think I'm crazy because people are just in love with Sakazuki right now. But I think Black Yellow Linlin is the hardest deck to pilot in the game properly. I don't think there's a close second because Sakazuki, yeah, it requires skill. Of course, I'm not saying it doesn't require skill, but it has every answer in the game, literally printed in the deck. Black Yellow Linlin doesn't have every answer. You're not going to be able to just depend on, oh, well, at least I got Houndblaze at the end of the day. I can just pop anything I need off the board. No, no, you have to actually outplay their board and outplay their hand, like every single time. And it requires so much skill.
That's absolutely true, man. And the thing is, with Luffy, like if you try to apply the same logic to Black Yellow Wing Bomb, and let's say your opponent is not going to allow you to be at 1 life, so you gain life. Well, if you are starving me, you're allowing me to get smoothly into endgame.
10 lane.
And once we get endgame, GG's, bro.
Yeah.
Like literally GG's.
Yeah, you're literally, yeah, I've said that before too, where it's like, oh, you're not, people have done that to me at locals trying to play around. It's like, or not play around, like mess around, but trying to play around my leader effect. Like, okay,
Yes,
I'm gonna leave
yes.
you at 2 life. Oh, are you? Okay, no problem.
How are you?
I'll drop a Tinlin and say pass. Your turn. Go ahead. And now they start swinging again. They're like, oh my god, now he's at 3.
Exactly, exactly.
And guess what?
Yeah.
Tinlin is technically leader locked. You can only play that in Katakuri and Tinlin or Linlin. So it's like you have that. And then, so what do you think about this argument? I've heard this argument before as well. People try to tell me like, hey, Enel's effect is the same as Big Mom's. I'm like,
No.
no, dude, you don't get it.
Absolutely not.
You know,
Absolutely not.
and some people have said it to me jokingly, by the way, but some people have said it like serious, where it's like, no, dude, it's not even close. Because if you're at 1 life with Linlin, you get to go up to 2 life. Okay, and second of all, if you're down to 0 life, you get to go back up to 1. Now they can do that, with their little Katakuri effects and their Yamato. But go ahead. What do you think about that argument?
The thing is, it's an objective truth that a lot of NL players lose games without even getting to use their leader effect at least once. And that is because people know how to play against NL.
Yep.
But if when it comes to Black Yellow Big Mom, if I get to not use my effect at all, I still have my 10 drop Big Mom.
Yeah.
Like, Yeah, it's just one of the main selling points of Black Yellow Big Mom. That's a yellow leader that can play a broken card, an unfair card, objectively. And when we talk about card game design, that's an unfair card, guys.
It's a 2 life point swing, and you're dropping a 12K. A 10 cost 12K. That's the hardest thing to remove in the game is a 10 cost 12K.
Uh, Absolutely. So if we're talking about the black yellow leaders at all, like all of them.
Yeah.
I think I'm not gonna play that Luffy. The Kairos,
Mess
I think
around.
I'll either maybe play it all black probably. I think I'll play it all black to be honest.
I think so. Because
Yeah, because like what yellow helps me with synergizes with my black engine.
I think there's only a few, and they're all Dressrosa. Dressrosa. Sorry, I don't have my glass on, and let me go yellow with it. Like, there's only a few that are actually decent. It's that Viola, because she is at least a blocker at the end of the day, and then maybe.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm trying to think. This new Sabo's decent that it's on the screen, but there's only one yellow card, and it's not Dressrosa that I would consider running. And it's the what's that? It's a new 4 cost. You could take their last life. Reject. Yeah, that
solid card.
Yeah, I
solid.
think this card is going to be obnoxious to play against. Like, it is so good because you're going to be able to, like, they think they're safe at 1 life.
Yeah.
Nope, sorry.
This card supported Katakuri more than it supported Enel. It's funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's Katakuri actually.
Oh my god, Katakuri is killing people in Japan with this card.
It's brutal because now they have the Thunderbolts, they have the 200 million volts Amaru, and now they have Reject as well. It's just, how do you stop these?
It's funny because like you always, I mean, like try to play around Big Mom, put yourself at 2 life, so when she drops, you still have 1. You know.
Yeah.
So like you're not 0, and then Reject, trash your life, 12 GGs.
That's that. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, this card's gonna be incredible. I actually want to mess around with a more aggressive version of Black Yellow Linlin in the future, using this card, like kind of building like Katakuri, like I'm doing, like I've done in the recent past here, and messing with this because no one's gonna expect this from Black Yellow Linlin. No one. Yeah, they're gonna be like, yeah,
probably.
You know, and sometimes that's all it takes for you to win a match. Someone got me the other day. One of the better players at our store, this guy named Mark. He's a judge. He's actually at LA right now. He's judging over there for nationals. Awesome guy, awesome player, and I was playing against Blue Luffy, promo Blue Luffy, right? Yeah. And I'm like,
nice.
I've got this game in the bag. Like he's playing Blue Luffy, and I'm playing Sakazuki. We were playing. It was I wanted to at least play Blue and Black Sakazuki because that's what got me into the game is Navy and Sakazuki. I'm the scumbag, I guess. I'm the bad guy. Sakazuki's one of my favorite characters, man. I'm a big fan of the donut. I
love him.
Yeah, he gives people.
I love Akainu. Akainu is amazing.
He's the man. Yeah, he is brutal justice, man.
Yeah, his justice is
absolute.
Yeah, the brutal justice.
Yeah, man. But anyway, so I had to at least give it a try. So I'm playing against my buddy Mark, and I'm like, okay, I've got this game in the bag. And then he dropped a card I don't think I had ever seen before. It was the 6-cost Law. He took a life card. Like I had like 8 cards in hand. You know, I mean, I was screwed. There was no way I was getting out of it. And it was like I'm looking at the board, and I've calculated. You know, good players, they calculate like 2, 3, 4 turns in advance. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing math. And I'm like, I've got this game completely in the bag. There's no way for him to stop me. You know, like if everything goes according to plan, I'll win this game. I'll have 0 life, but I'll win this game. Like I have it all calculated out. And then he drops 6-cost Law, and I'm like, there goes a life I didn't think I was going to lose. You know what I mean? Like, because, oh man, he frustrated me with that one.
That card is really good.
Yeah.
And Black Yellow Big Mom, this card is absolutely insane.
Devastating. Yeah.
Its first effect synergizes amazingly with your black section.
Yeah.
In the deck. And the second effect is just the way you kill people, I guess, in other yellow leaders.
Yeah.
Triggers pretty good too.
Yeah, just absolutely brutal. But yeah, but that's all, you know, that's what makes card games fun, right? Is being able to tech in these little choices. Well, man, that's about all I got, man. Mo, I appreciate you coming on here and doing this because,
man, I had a lot of fun because like this conversation was just amazing.
And hey, if you get any more W's with Big Mom, you know I want to hear about it on the Discord. And I know you're on the Discord now, man. Sure. I got to hear about that. Hear about the new sauce and everything. You got any plugs? Anything you want to say at the end? Any shout outs?
I'll just shout out my One Piece community, my friends there, Burp, Io, and the boys there, all of them.
Awesome, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
because those are the guys, you know, you play iron sharpens iron, right, man? Like I'm
Yes,
100%.
exactly. They're my boys. I mean, if it's not for them, probably I'm not playing One Piece as much because our community here is small, but we're a
Strong.
wholesome community, man. We love our game here.
Real strong. That's awesome, man. Same where I am, so I feel you on that. Well, Mo, again, I appreciate you, bud. Congratulations again on the win, man, and I can't wait to see what you do in the
Thanks,
future,
man.
bud.
For sure, man.
All right, peace.
Bye bye.